Welcome to Sustainable House Day. I'm Milton and this is Velga. This is our home in Jolimont in Perth. And we're in a new suburb here with parklands around, which explains the Parkside in our title for the day. We've always been interested in the idea of a sustainable and low energy kind of a house. When we discovered this particular concept of passive house, we saw that extended the ideas of just correct orientation and a bit of insulation to its logical conclusion. Here we chose this site because of the long northern boundary. Its north is straight out here, and you can see we've got our big stack of windows here facing that to let the heat and the warmth come into the house. We came across, I think it was an ad in the paper, we just came across the idea of what iSMART homes were doing, and we took it from there. Since moving in, we've found that this is a house that doesn't have any drafts, so whatever heating or cooling we put into the house during the day or the evenings, it stays there. One of the things that we've included in this house is a decent solar PV system on the roof, and with that in mind, we've particularly gone for straight gable roofs. We haven't got hip roofs on this house, so that the maximum amount of panels can be used, and it looks neat. It really does look neat on the roof. Not counting the standard charge for being connected to the grid, we've spent less than $100 on electricity for 6 months. And that's including some time in summer when it was hot and we didn't have our shutters on the windows yet, right through to the end of June. You'll notice a bit of background noise. We've got a construction site of apartments across the road, and when we go inside you'll notice the difference in the sound because the insulation of the house also keeps the noise out as well as unwanted temperatures. Okay, so we decided we wanted a sustainable house with energy efficiency and all those sort of things. All we needed was a builder. And we came across Brian and the iSMART team.
Hey Milton, Velga, thanks very much for including me today in the Sustainable House Day event. As always, a fantastic event, and it's great to see you guys taking part to showcase your beautiful home. We
started off with a concept from the federal government's Your Home website. And if anybody looks at those, you'll see the hints of it through the house. We added a granny flat upstairs at the back. We spent longer in council than we spent building on site.
When you were going through the process, it was easy to understand the differences between passive solar and passive house and the benefits of the products that you were getting? Yes.
I guess I wasn't expecting to have the heat recovery ventilation system. And that means that we get a house that has fresh air all the time without relying on getting a breeze, because sometimes you just don't get a breeze.
So you're bringing in fresh air from the external environment and you're tempering that air, or you're transferring the energy of the air from the inside of the home into that air as it leaves the building. Thus maintaining ambient temperature for an extremely low cost. For experience, you've been living here for
about 7 months now.
Yeah, 7 or 8 months. And so performance of the home itself, you're happy with it so far?
We are happy with it.
You've got an R6 insulation in your ceilings and an R3 high performance insulation in all the external walls. We've got a 2.5 high performance acoustic batt in all the internal walls. So for acoustics more so than temperature, because our external envelope is our insulation, really. And then in your floor, well, you've got a 2-story over here and back here. So in those floor zones, we've got an R4 high performance acoustic batts also. Do you think the value of these insulations is a big thing, or do you think it's overrated, or what's your opinion on that?
Well, certainly thermal insulation makes a huge difference in terms of keeping the heat in or the coolness in summertime.
Being thermally efficient and highly sustainable, building a timber frame, you have all these benefits, but how's your experience with sound so far in the house? So from external sound coming in?
Sound from outside is virtually minimal. We have the state netball centre across the road, and so there are thousands of shouting young people over there on a weekend, and we hardly hear a thing. Likewise, the building site outside, we hardly hear anything from inside, and yet they're using jackhammers and grinders and things like that, clanging steel around. It's well and truly stays outside. You
guys are aware, and you now have a timber frame home, so extremely efficient, extremely good carbon footprint, reduction in waste because of pre-manufactured construction. Are these all things that you considered while you were in the design process, and what was your main driver for choosing timber frame over brick?
It wasn't something that we were thinking about beforehand, but we learned the benefits as we went through that design stage. We've been living in Canberra and Sydney in framed houses, so we weren't afraid of framed and gyprock walls or anything like that. You're using a plantation timber instead of, say, clay bricks. Yeah, the timber frame in the house took around about 18 cubic metres of sustainably produced timber from plantation, and I understand that's produced by about 18 trees.
Yeah, that's correct.
And trees, they grow fast enough. You consider it like a crop rather than a long-term thing.
Replant those is extremely cheap, but your growth time in the current Western Australian forestry is seconds. We're not talking hours or days here, we're talking seconds to regrow. So these are thermally broken windows, extremely highly efficient. U-value of about 1.4 on average when we talk about windows and doors. In your opinion, and you've lived in plenty of houses in plenty of states, so you have quite a bit of experience. In this particular home, what's your opinion or what's your view on the windows that you've installed?
Appearance-wise, the windows look nice. They're easy to operate. They provide ventilation when we want to open windows, and no drafts.
There's a lot more to them than just being a double glazed unit. The fact that they're argon filled increases the performance, but they also have light bridge grey low E glass or glazing in the units. So you're getting some beautiful sunlight in on concrete floors. So utilising the thermal mass of the concrete floors. We've taken some temperatures a little bit earlier on here, you and I, and our internal floor temperature was a cosy 27, which is pretty good. Our internal glass temperature was about 25 on the bottom of the glazing, which is quite good. Considering we're getting that thermal gain in. The top of the glass, which is not getting sunlight, is about 20 odd degrees. But the most noticeable temperature that we had was the external temperature of the glass, which was 46 degrees. Just by looking at these numbers, that you've extremely high performing glazing in these doors.
Perhaps that in winter time you just want to get as much heat in as you possibly can.
Yeah.
But you can actually get too much.
We did have ATMA at the time come across and we tested your house for air-tightness. How did you guys fare out?
We got a reading of 0.72.
Wow, that's incredible. That's 0.12 above certified passive.
So what's it like day to day? We get up in the morning and it's cool, but it's not cold. It's not chilly. During the day, the temperature stays fairly even. Other benefits, we've talked about it being quiet. It's also a relatively dust-free environment too. Plantation shutters on the windows, and we do have some east and west windows, and they do cop the heat in summertime, but as soon as those shutters went on, it took out probably 80–90% of the heat gain that we didn't want at that time of the year. So thank you for calling in on our house today. I hope you've enjoyed it, learned something about the benefits of passive house.